Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope y'all doing great. I'm doing okay. Welcome back to Creator Day 5, August 5th, 2020. Today we're just going to be playing around with embossing folders and just doing some random inking techniques. Nothing fancy today. I want to tell you a quick story, I guess. So yesterday, myself and a little roommate walked to the mailbox, and we do two routes. If I have packages or heavy mail, I'll walk the same way there and back, right? If not, we'll walk around the block just because he's not getting out and, doing a whole bunch of stuff. So right here, I'm going to take this Gemini Rose embossing folder, and I do have ink on it already. And some of the projects that I've already started working on look like this. And these are going to just go in some, this is a test that didn't work out. That was a fail. A plus because I tested it out and saw that I didn't like it. A fail because I wasted stuff like that. But anyway, so this right here, I used some distress ink, and I love it. Like if you've ever seen like concrete projects or whatever, this is the feel that I get from that. This right here, I've put ink on both sides of the embossing folder, and they look like this. So one side is embossed and one side is debossed. And then I have these. That is just ran through and ran over with the worn lipstick. And then this one is ran through the remainings of these colors and just went over with a brush. And this one is ran through with the ink on there, and then just took the postbox red and the cut grass and ran over it in those sections. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to run it through. I cut these down. This is just regular 65-pound paper, and I cut it 3 inches because I felt like that would fit through the Gemini Mini. So what I'm going to do is run this through just like this, and it still has some ink on it. I wiped most of it off with my little wipe, but I'm going to actually have to take it and clean it. I think that sometimes you have to be mentally prepared to ruin some of your project, your materials, for the sake of crafting. I don't think it's super ruined. I just think that it's going to be have some in red on it because I use permanent ink. Also, if you're going to use embossing folders, sometimes giving your paper a little spritz of water covering most of the area will loosen up your fibers in the paper, so you don't have to worry about this right here where it's bowed. But that's okay because I am making these for other projects, and I just thought we could do it together, hang out together. I may make a card with some of the pieces, but probably not. So we're just going to run this through. And I'll just show you how this looks. This video will not be long today. I'm going to do a short one. It's just embossing technique. So you can see on both sides, because I still have ink on both sides, how it looks. So emboss, you can see that it's raised up, and deboss is flattened. So I like this side a lot, but I also like this side because it just looks like someone went in and etched all the ink. But we're going to use this side for the purpose of creating this video. I have, let's see, is this the one? No. These little makeup brushes eat up whatever ink you do have, so it is good to clean them off, but the makeup brushes eat the ink. And I haven't been able to find a lot of these at the Dollar Tree because I know myself, I'll probably end up ruining some of them. I did get some in friend mail, which is great. I like these big chunky ones. You can order these online through Amazon. I guess you just type in makeup brush. Do not buy it if it says craft brush. Don't type in craft brush because these cost $1 as the craft brush, a makeup brush, but they cost more as craft brushes. So just keep that in mind. So we have our little embossed sheet of paper right here. And now we're going to just take postbox red, and I'm going to just get the brush inked up, and I'm going to start over here a little bit, just because you see right here where you put it down, it does that. If you like that effect, then that's fine. I tend to go on the project super heavy at the very beginning, And so it always looks like I went on super heavy. So sometimes I have to just remind myself, like this one, I went super heavy. So I have to go and make some of them all look kind of like that was intentional, which it was not. So anyway, the little roommate and I go to the mailbox, and we have junk mail and bills, right? Bills are junk mail, right? So we have bills and flyers to come and buy food and all the other junk. And so we're walking around the corner, and I can't see, but I can see a dog. And on the corner is this dog standing there, and she looks vicious, like she's about to charge us and attack us. And then I was like, I don't want to, in my head, I'm thinking, I don't want to be on the news for killing a dog or a dog trying to maul me. So we're walking, and like this is the sidewalk, and right here is a truck, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I can throw my son on top of the roof and fight the dog if I have to fight the dog, right? Or whatever. Be mauled by the dog. And I didn't even take my cell phone to call the big roommate and say, hey, come save us, right? Because usually you don't need a cell phone to walk a block, right? You know, make a corner, make the loop. So anyway, we're walking. I was like, okay. And I picked my son up because, you know, instinct. And I'm like, okay. The dog runs up to us, and I've been charged by a dog before. Even though I love animals and I want a dog, I've been charged by a dog when I was a little kid, and freaking terrified me. It was what was it? A golden retriever? Yeah, I think it was a golden retriever. And flat I went, right? Knocked me flat down. I'm quite sure a lot of kids have that story. And I was crying, terrified. My mom was like, okay, we're going to leave here because, you know, we were visiting. And I just couldn't, I was terrified of that dog. So anyway, my son is not around a lot of animals. Nicholas is the only one that he's around, and Nicholas is a cat, although Nicholas scratched him last night. So anyway, the dog runs up on us, and she is super friendly. Now, I am not a pet expert, but I can tell that she's a she because, you know, she looked like she's giving birth. Let's just leave it at that. And she didn't look like she was fresh off of giving birth, but she looked like she had a litter or two, right? And she was so sweet. And she followed us home, and I was like, oh crap, dog, cat, don't mix, right? And so then I tell my son, I said, go get daddy and tell him that it's a dog outside. My family dynamics is crazy. I am not afraid of some of the stuff that my big roommate cannot stand. Like if he had to deal with it, he would, but he doesn't like dogs or snakes. So, needless to say, I'm much more of an animal person than he is, right? So he goes through, he comes outside, he's like, come on, let's go in the house. I was like, no, we need to find out where this dog lives because it's super friendly and everything. He's like, no, and you know, he's like, and I was like, oh, I forgot you're scared of dogs. He's like, I'm not scared of dogs, I just don't like them. I was like, oh yeah, okay. So that's one little technique that you can try. Another technique that we're going to try together is not tearing up everything on the desk, making it visual. All right, so we're going to do this, and what we're going to do is we're just going to ink up our paper, and I'm going to take this red, and I'm going to brush off, and I'm just going to brush on in random spots, okay? And these heavy marks are great. They don't have to be like that. It's no big deal if they are, but I like them. That way you can give the project a little pop if you wanted to. Now remember that we have one side that's not going to even get embossed, but you know, for whole purposes, we could always just clip that in and run it through the embossing folder at another time. So we're going to go ahead and do all of it like that. So needless to say, the dog is super friendly. My neighbor opens their garage. The dog goes into the garage through their house, and they have a dog. At first I thought it was their dog because I haven't seen their dog, like visually seen their dog. And if I have, it's at night and I couldn't remember. But the dog that was roaming free was a Rottweiler. You know, Rottweilers are usually very, very vicious. Some, you know, not if you train them to be good kissy lovey dogs. Most all dogs can be kissy lovey dogs, Even, you know, pit bulls can be kissy lovey dogs. But she was so sweet. I was like, oh, I want a dog. And my son's like, can we have a puppy? Can we have a dog? I'm like, no. Maybe when you turn 10. Because I am not going to be the sole caregiver of 4 things now. The big roommate, the little roommate, Nicholas, and a dog. No. Not happening on my watch. So anyway, I you know, I post we have if you have ever heard, it's an app called Nextdoor, and it's kind of like a community Facebook, because there's some drama that goes on there. So now I'm just going over and I'm putting some green down in some spots, just because the roses have green spots called leaves, right? Green leaves and rose petals. So anyway, the dog goes into my neighbor's house, and I post on Nextdoor. I said, is this your dog? Right? And I take a picture. So we're going to use this side more. Hopefully, let's see. Yeah, I can mark it off. Is this your dog? And, you know, people post, and one of neighbor, I don't know her, on another block says, oh, that looks like the dog that got out 2 weeks ago. July 22nd, I believe. And that was a post. The same thing happened. She went into somebody's house and was hanging out, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, well, you can send, you know, you can contact this person. So I sent her a private message, because I don't like calling people. But I sent her a private message through Nextdoor app. And I was like, is this your dog? Now, this was at like 10 o'clock in the morning, right? No. Yeah, like 10 o'clock in the morning. The lady never responded until like 11 or 12. And I'm thinking, the people in my neighborhood are great, but people drive fast, even though it's a residential area. And they've incorporated some speed bumps in our area for that very reason. So I was telling the big room, I said, I don't want the dog to get ran over, even though if it could have been like a kind of semi-vicious, but liked you a little bit. I didn't want the dog to get ran over. That was my whole purpose. So we're gonna go with this side. I like this side better. Yeah, we're gonna go with this side, and we're gonna go with this in. No, we're gonna go with this in. So here you go, right here. You can have your own like funky background paper if you choose. So my next door neighbor post, the dog came in the garage in the house. We're gonna take it, we're gonna take it for a walk around the neighborhood to see if she belongs somewhere. So she takes the dog. Look at that. See? So you see the difference in all of these projects. They all have, we've only used one embossing folder. Each technique that you do will give you a different result, right? And that's the beauty of using your products not the way it was intended to be used, right? Yes, we ran it through the embossing machine. But did they intend for us to make beautiful concrete-esque thing, or like a little trace? Probably. Well, it's Crafter's Companion, so who knows? They're probably like, yeah, these crafters are crafty. They're going to do something with it. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to cut this down real quick. All right, so we're going to make a tag with this little embossing folder cutout. And so I've been just trying to, I got my little die cuts that I use in other projects throughout this year and some of last year. A lot of stuff that I have, I just put over there in case I need to quickly grab something. I don't know why I inked this whole edge up and then decide I want to cut the corners. What is wrong with her? The bad thing about this paper choice is it is so flimsy that I am going to tape it down so you don't get to see all the beauty of this. Actually, you know what? We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I have these. This comes on a scan and cut. So what I'm thinking we could do, since it's roses and things like that, I went around with this gel pen because I like this thing so much. And I was thinking about putting this on here, but these are tulips, I think, right? And yeah, so I'm going to do that. And then I was thinking that we had these two little hearts. We can put that right there. But I need for this to hang off like that a little bit, because this pink, goodness, Brandy, the pink goes on there. I have ink all over my fingers, so you know this is a great crafty session. Great crafty session. So anyway, my neighbor takes a dog for a walk, and they're gone for at least 30 minutes. And I'm like, this, you know, because some people will drop off animals. Unfortunately, those are the humans that you just want to run over with a car, right? Like, don't get a dog or any pet and then you can't take care of it. Like, pets are forever, right? Don't get a pet that you only want to keep for the holidays and realize, oh, they cost money. I shouldn't have got this. No, you shouldn't have. So anyway, you know, they tell me, because my neighbors are very nice, the people that live next door to me. Actually, my neighbors next door across the street are very nice. I just don't engage with them a lot because I don't want to invest time into getting to know people, and then they move. That happens a lot here. My neighbors next door are not the original people, and I was telling them, when they told me how far it was, I was like, wow, that's a long way. I said, I remember when I used to be in super shape and I used to run up and down and around the thing. Those houses that they said was not even built yet. And so, you know, communities do develop, they do grow. So that is something to happen that, you know, happens. But it was like half a mile. I think it's about half a mile from that house, is a half a mile from our house. And she said, you know, she went with her dad, and at first she was going to fuss at the lady, like, because, you know, people that are animal lovers do not play when animals come missing. They're like, how could you be such a pet owner, blah, blah, blah. Not saying that she was going to do that, but, you know, it's a possible. So anyway, I think I want to do some flowers, right? But then I didn't have any cutesy flowers. I do have these little things, but I was thinking I can do these flowers right here really quickly. So we'll see. We will see. But I want to do like more than two, and I don't think I have more than two in here. So let me check. All right, so it's coming together. Okay, I wouldn't say really nice or quite nicely. It's coming together. Because I was just thinking, I did all this work, and now I'm covering it all up. But you know, that's what I realized that we do as crafters. We create a beautiful masterpiece and then put a lot of junk on top of it. And it still looks nice, but I'm like, we just did all that work to that. And now this is what we get at the end. It's still, you know, it's your creation, however you want to create it. I don't know. Because I was thinking, you don't even have a sentiment. Like, and I was like, oh, I have this little cutout of love. I could put that on there somewhere. So we'll see. So anyway, back to this dog story, right? So my neighbors are telling me that they walk all the way down to the end of the community, of our community, basically. And they said that, you know, they're tired and they're sitting out there for a while. It's hot in Texas. If you all do not know, it's hot. It was 100 and something yesterday, I think. Like 101 was what my car said. I think it said 101, 102. It was hot. But sometimes the car is not accurate. But still, it was 100 and something outside is what it was saying, right? So I already grounded these up. I'm just fluffing them up and applying pressure. Let me stop playing glue roulette because I might lose. And you know, he sat under the tree for a long, long time, and he said it was a long time. Like I said, they were gone like an hour. And I sent the lady a private message, and she didn't write back. She hadn't wrote back yet. But the door opens, and the tree that they sat under was the dog's tree, and that was like great. That was a great story, great ending. And you know, at first my neighbor was going to fuss at the lady. How could you be so irresponsible about your pets? A lot of people are like that when it comes to you know, telling people how they should do certain things. I'm going to take a jewel. I think I'm just going to take this pearl. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that pearl. And I do agree to some point that, especially because the dog got out July 22nd and we're on August 4th. Yes, it was the 4th. I'm just putting some glue on this thing. So, you know, that's frequent. But, you know, the lady wrote a nice story about the dog and all that stuff. So, you know, sometimes it takes time to get to know that you shouldn't be roaming free. Because people steal dogs. People do other things. They harm animals and things like that. So, you know, it's always just best to try and keep your pets inside. Nicholas got out at the beginning of the year, and I didn't even know he was out because he likes to do crazy stuff. Like, look at that. That's pretty. I like that. Like, I'm looking at him like, yeah, I like this flower a lot. Probably a little bit too much. Am I liking this flower too much? I probably am. But I feel like this is going to be very cool because you can turn it over. You can maybe write something on the back of that. I don't know. But we're going to put this little dress right here. I was thinking I could put the Eiffel Tower here. Ooh la la, right? Kind of like this. But we need the Eiffel Tower to be seen. Right? Because if I just do this, you won't even know it's the Eiffel Tower. Let's just do this and call it a day. I said it's going to be a short video. We're at 22 minutes already. Let's just do that. And whenever I put these projects down, I always try to make sure I figure out where I'm gluing it. Now remember that when you have emboss project products and things that you're using, you want to make sure that the glue catches or tape catches whatever the project is very well. If not, the project will fall off. It will fall off eventually. Okay. So now I like it. I like it. I'm going to just put some jewels right here. Some gems, I think. I decided to use this triple washi. It just says London, Paris, New York, Amsterdam. All the places that people want to go and have fun. I think New York is probably one of the places that a lot of tourists always want to go to. There's a lot more things to see in America besides New York, but I'm not crapping on New York. I actually like going to visit New York as well. I probably won't go there anytime soon because I have to figure out a way to travel when all this is over that doesn't require flying. I really don't like to fly, just so y'all know. I will if I have to, but I don't really care for it. So this is our completed project for today, August 5th. I love it. I like these flowers even more and more. The more I look at them, like, yeah, that flower's cute. So anyway, embossing folder, different techniques. I want to say thank y'all for watching. Until next time, happy creator.